So hello everyone. I'm really happy to. No, can't hear me. No. So I hope everybody can hear me. I'm really happy to greet you from Tallinn and congratulate you on the International Coaching Week. I really thank my colleagues from Latvia, Lithuania, and Ukraine who have helped me to organize this event today, and you all are most welcome to join us also all the lunch seminars on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Just some practical details for all the participants that you can't be here or seen unless you push the raise your hand button on the screen, which hopefully you can find. And if there is any technical questions you have, just push the chat button and ask our colleague Alina, who is in Kiev and helping us with all the technical things. So greetings to Ukraine as well. I'm very happy to actually now give the floor to our representative from ICF Global, Alla, to make the short introduction, and then our seminar can start with our lecturer Ivar, who is already waiting for us. Okay, floor is yours, Alla.
I can unmute myself. Hi, hello everyone. Yeah, I'm really glad to see the names, which on my screen. Yeah, and hello everyone, Latvia, Lithuania, and Ukraine. So my name is Alla Kazaeva, and I'm ICF Regional Development Manager for Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And I'm really honored to start my 2018 International Coaching Week here in Tallinn. But that is just the beginning of my International Coaching Week journey, because I'm going to attend events in Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania during this week. International Coaching Week is a week-long celebration to educate the public about the value of working with a professional coach. It is a time of the year when we as global coaching community have an opportunity to connect, engage, and educate others about what coaching is and how it can raise the potential of individuals and organizations, as well as further our vision of coaching being an integral part of the thriving society. This is an opportunity to connect and engage with the colleagues and friends in the coaching community, and to celebrate successes and acknowledge contribution. It is an opportunity to come together, to engage, and educate with the potential new members or, potential new clients or existing clients and organizations. 130 ICF chapters from 70 countries have been creating events, from 1 or 2 day conference to 1 hour webinar to gala award dinner. And I encourage you to get involved. To find about global or regional or your country and chapter events, please visit experiencecoaching.com and select what event you would like to attend. If you are not able to attend in person, you could also join virtually, because there are a lot of events, and our today event is a great example how you could join this event virtually. And about other events organized throughout this week, you could find visiting our Facebook event page. Celebrate being a professional coach together with almost 32,000 ICF members from 144 countries. Celebrate being a professional coach with your coaching peers, coaching community, with your clients, and with those who are very keen on knowing how coaching can enable society to thrive. I wish you a very happy International Coaching Week, and please enjoy our webinar today. And I'm looking forward to visit ICF members in Latvia and Lithuania as well. Anna-Marie?
Yes, thank you, Alla. And okay. Thank you, Alla. And now I think we have our guest, Ivar, ready to tell us about supervision and coaching. So, Ivar, are you there? Okay.
I hope so. You can.
Great.
I guess.
At least we can hear you. So the floor is yours.
Okay. Can you see me as well?
Yes, I can see you, and hopefully all the 30 participants that we have can see you as well.
Okay. Thank you very much. Well, first of all, hello, fellow coaches from different countries. Welcome to Estonia, although at the present time virtually. And I'm very privileged to share with you some of my experience, my enthusiasm, and my knowledge about something which is really closely related to coaching, which is coaching supervision. First of all, a few words about myself. I've been coaching already for 8 years. I'm an ICF PCC coach. And now I'm studying in international group of coaching supervision, which is facilitated by Damien Goldberg. He was ex-president of ICF Global. And in June, I will graduate from this course, and then I will seek to get EMCC certification as well. And, I hope you know what is EMCC. It's a European Mentoring and Coaching Council, who is the most active body to regulate coaching supervision. Quite interestingly, ICF hasn't yet become active in coaching supervision. They just acknowledge it, but they are not yet certifying it or doing anything else than just encouraging coaches to experience coaching supervision. And now I would like to share my screen so that I have just a few slides so that you can get some visual. Now, how does it work? A minute. Right. Do you see my screen? Anna-Marie, could you respond so that I have feedback?
Yes.
Okay, you can. Well, just one organizational topic. Zoom platform has several very useful features. One feature is chat. You will see the chat button on bottom side of your screen. So whenever during this presentation you have any comments or you have any questions, just post them there. And I try to be attentive to this. And other thing is that there was also possibility to raise hands. So I would like to test first this raising hand function. So my question to you is, please raise hands who of you have regular supervision sessions, who as a coach go to supervision. Please raise your hands. All right. Well, not that many, as I see. Okay, coaching supervision is still in a rather early stage of development. There are some countries in Europe where it's really strong, like UK, for instance. And on the other hand, quite interestingly, US, who has been active in developing coaching, is sort of lagging behind in coaching supervision. Well, now, let's see. Somehow I'm a bit stuck with the program now. Okay. So let's start from definition of supervision. EMCC defines supervision as written in the screen. I'm not going to read the whole sentence, but the key words here are support, reflective dialogue, and collaborative learning for coaches, together with a supervisor. Yeah, I'm having it. Somehow I cannot scroll my presentation. I'm very sorry for that. Let me see. Anne-Marie, could you give me some guidance? I'm a bit stuck with this. Okay, it's here. Thank you. So now, speaking about coaching supervision, it would be good to just try to differentiate supervision from the other coaching-related activities. Just to try to make it short, then coaching by understanding is the process for the client to gain clarity, discover and realize their potential. It's all about the client, and it's pretty much about their potential. Coach mentoring is really related to developing skills of the coach. So everybody who has gone for ICF certification know that mentoring is very important part of it, and a good mentor is better coach than the person who is getting mentoring, and the main focus is developing the skills. And now coaching supervision is something more than coaching and more than mentoring. Coaching supervision is a space where, if it's one-to-one, two people, coach and supervisor, have a great place to reflect on the coach's experience, challenges, ideas, blocks, barriers, aspirations, many things like that. So it's a rather free-flowing process, which might give impact through discovering important ideas, getting more confidence, and moving forward. And now, why coaching supervision isn't one in Europe, and specifically in the US? There are several barriers to this. And one of the barriers is people don't like the word supervision. Now I'm showing you a slide from Peter Hawkins, who is really one of the leading gurus of coaching supervision. He works in the UK. He is a professor of Hamley's Business School, University of Reading. And now I share with his views, which I fully agree. So what about the word supervision? supervision, if we go to the business, supervisor is somebody who has administrative power, who gives you work, who monitors it, who says what you have to do. And usually people don't like to be told what to do. They mostly like to decide themselves and do what they like the more. And therefore, just the word supervision has a shade of being told, or somebody wiser than you will teach you. Then it's not very clear about the benefits of supervision. It is not obligatory. It's just recommended by ICF. And therefore, who haven't tried it, it's really difficult to rationally understand what's the benefits. Then there are not that many trained coaching supervisions. And having a session with untrained supervision might just create confusion. What was it? Was it coaching? Was it mentoring? And this also creates a sort of confusion. Then some coaches think that I don't need it. Once I'm trained as a coach, then I'm trained for a lifetime. But practice shows that the more experience coaches obtain, there is a trap to be sort of in a routine, doing the same things and become complacent. And therefore, this thought is put in the brackets. And also the element of cost. What's interesting to know is that coaching, especially executive coaching, is rather expensive, but coaching supervision isn't that expensive. It's a tradition that coaching supervision costs are roughly at half of the cost of coaching. And one reason might be that being involved in a supervision process as the supervisor also learn quite a lot, and it helps to develop also own coaching skills. And during the 9 months, what I have been involved in this international course, this have given me really a lot also for my own coaching practice. So these are the 5 most widespread blocks to coaching supervision. And now, how does supervision work? There are many models by which you can use in a supervision, but I prefer most of them the model 7 Eyes of Supervision by Peter Hoggins. And why it's so? This is because it gives 7 very useful perspectives to look at specific case. And now I will try to share with you what is how this model works. So in this model are involved sort of 3 parties: coach, client of the coach, which forms the coaching system, and then supervisor and the coach, which forms the supervisory system. So there are 2 overlapping systems, and they are overlapping where the coach is. And now, what are the 7 Eyes? Eye 1 is the client situation, meaning that in a supervision session, coach shares some information about the client, the background, what's happening with the client, what's the contract, what are the goals. So Eye 1 looks at the client. Eye 2 looks at what the coach is doing, with what interventions, what process is the coach guiding with the client. This is Eye 2. Eye 3 is the coaching relationship. And this is rather interesting. It's not that much about what the coach is doing, but what about the energy? What about the contact with them? What is the flow of the process between client and the coach? I4 is the coach. It is focusing on while coach is coaching the client, then what the coach as a person is going through. The thoughts, feelings, emotions, maybe some hesitations. What energy do they feel? So I4 is about the coach. I5 is a supervisory relationship between supervisor and the coach. And it's a bit of similar as a coaching relationship with a coach. It also deals with emotions, feelings, thoughts, ideas. It's pretty wide. And here, during the supervisory relationship, a very interesting notion is parallel process. Quite often, it happens that what is going between the coach and the client is sort of mirrored in the relationship between the supervisor and the coach. And I could just bring some examples from my own practice. For instance, I had a supervisory session where coach told that their client is talking very much, filling all the space, talking and talking and talking, and the coach is listening, but isn't saying that much, and then has the doubts how good coach they are, because where should the coach add the value? And we went through this topic and discussed, and at one moment I noticed what's going on between myself and the coach. And then I asked from the coach, how do you feel? What's going on here? Who is talking mostly? And the coach answered, yeah, I do. Okay. And I don't say that much. Yes, that's true. Okay, how does it work for you? Talking, and me not that much intruding. Then there was a period of silence, and the coach said, oh, it works well. I really can develop my thoughts, and it brings me very well forward. And then I said that, well, how might this reflect what's going on between yourself and your client? And then the coach answered, oh yeah, I see. It might be really useful. So that's about I5. Now, I6 is the supervisor. What is the supervisor feeling? What's going on? What energy, etc. And sometimes it's really useful to share this with the client. For instance, when I was supervised by one of the leading supervisors, then we were in the process, and suddenly supervisor said that, wait a minute, may I share something, what I feel? And then he shared that, well, I feel that you are very much in your head, but could you just go down and feel what's happening in your body? And then I did it, and the whole process of supervision took totally different direction and gave me really strong aha element. So sharing what the supervisor is feeling or going through, it often adds some value. And then the I7 is the wider context. It deals not only with the client coach or coach supervisor, it deals also with the system, the organization where the client comes from, or the coaching community as such, how this process is related to development of coaching. So this is really a wider view. Now I have to confess that I'm not that okay. I thought that there are some questions. Yeah, I tried to take this for a moment. Okay. One supervision is the most required. It's it's interesting. Supervision is good as a regular support. My experience says that about once per quarter would be rather good rhythm. There is also recommendation, as I have heard from ICF, that after each 30 hours of coaching would be good to have supervision. So there are no fixed rules. It's flexible, but the key is that is regular. And one interesting trend is that really large corporate coaching clients, they know about supervision, and quite often for them is the qualifier is, if they want to hire a coach, is the coach attending supervision. And I'm a partner of several international coaching companies like Coach Source from the US or LSP Leadership from the UK, and all of them also require that coach is having regular supervision sessions. Can you call supervision as coaching a coach? Basically, you can, but in a way, supervision is a bit wider. If coaching a coach is related, or if coaching somebody is related as a support or help for this person to find their own way, then in supervision, there is also the element of giving some guidance, sharing what supervisor is feeling, also some conceptual ideas and topics. Just in a few moments, I will talk 4 levels of supervision, what's happening there and what comes up. So you can call it, but this way you lose some part of it. Okay, right. Now I go back to the presentation. Right. Yeah. Okay. Now, 4 levels of engagement in supervision. This concept comes also from Peter Hawkins. So the first level is facts. A client is just, or coach who is having supervision is sharing what's happening. For instance, one occasion was that coach shared that he didn't agree with the client next meeting, and the client said that, well, let's agree it over email, but doesn't take the initiative. And now the coach says that, well, what should I do? How should I take the initiative and move it forward? So it's just facts, something what's happening. Second, habitual patterns of behavior. So if client doesn't initiate next meeting, what should I do? Usually I take contact, says the coach, and ask, is it the right time? My door is open. We could go for a session. So this is how the coach is usually doing. Then in a supervision, we can discuss how good is this practice? What's the impact? How does it impact on the accountability of the client, and topics like that. Third level of engagement is reactive personal feelings, and this might be really interesting. I could share one of my stories as a coach. which was solved with the help of my supervisor. So I had a coaching client. He was 65. And when I had sessions with him, we had very good cognitive sessions. We made progress, but I felt that something was happening inside of me. Something what he did really disturbed me rather strongly, and it didn't let me to be in a usual flow. And then I went to supervision and shared this with my supervisor. And then we discussed it through, and what came out was that actually I was unconsciously reacting to something what my client was doing. These were signs of aging man who wasn't fully in control of his senses. For instance, he didn't hear that well. I had to sit closer and some other things. And then I understood that, well, these are such features what I actually wouldn't like to have myself. It's sort of fear of getting old. And when I really cracked it, then it released the whole thing. And the next meeting with this coaching client was fantastic. We were very good very well in the same flow, and we had excellent rapport, excellent learnings. When our series finished, he brought me presents, and it was fantastic, and I felt great. So this is one example how reactive personal feelings, if these are unconscious, you can't really crack them yourself. You need somebody aside of you who help you to get your awareness. Or also very interesting level is assumptions, values, or stories what coach tell to themselves. And I have quite a bit of experience being supervisor to coaches who are more experienced than myself. Mostly this is because the coaching course supervision course which I'm attending, there are 6 master coaches and the rest are PCCs, and most of them have more experience than me. But then what's interesting, that still even very experienced coaches have something happening in their head, which is surprising. For instance, there was a coach with 10,000 hours of experience. And when we went through one specific case of hers, then she came to the realization that, well, you see, again, I'm trying too much. Again, I'm not sure, have I done the best possible session? All this around this MCC and experience and all this blah, blah, blah. Well, it stops, it keeps me down. And so after 10,000 hours, so we are all people. And again, if during a supervision session, there is a great space to go through these things, these topics, it gives the good awareness. And now, there is a person who has very much investigated what's going on in coaching supervision psychologically. This is Tatiana Bashkirova, who is living and working in the UK. And this is just a fragment of one of her presentations, which really talked to me. And she told about 3 sort of how to say, clusters of coaching. Coaches. He named these coaches with unformed ego, formed ego, and reformed ego. Basically, we can bring a parallel that unformed ego, these are people who are not yet very sure of themselves, mostly coaches who have just finished coaching course and just finding their way. Formed ego are already coaches who have pretty much experience, and reformed ego is regularly with coaches who have done it a lot. And now, what are expectations from the supervisor? Pretty new coaches, they mostly seek to get emotional support. They want to be sure, is it right what they are doing? It's even not that much about what exactly. It's not about skills, but how they feel, how they use the skills, is the right moment, etc. And underlying need is to develop belief in themselves. And I have had quite several such sessions where this is really the main topic. Then people or coaches who already have a significant amount of practice, for them, quite often questions is, what's really working? Well, is it the right thing what I'm doing? Maybe I could be more efficient in other situations. So it's more like seeking the ways how to use their skills, what models to use, how to be as a coach mostly. And their need is to expand the perspectives of coaching. And finally, there are coaches who are really experienced, and for them, the topic often is that how to move forward. I've done it so much already that it seems that I'm starting to repeat myself. So they are seeking new ways where to go, and also their need to learn to understand paradoxes in coaching to really take them in. And what could be paradox in coaching, for instance? One paradox is that the less I do, the bigger impact I might have. A while ago, I had a pretty remarkable coaching session. It was already 5th or 6th session with the CEO of a large organization. And he came, sat down, and started to talk. So I listened to him. Then I wanted to be also involved in the process and sort of guide him a bit. I asked a question, but he basically ignored it, and he went on. Then I tried second time. He heard me and went on with his thoughts. And so during 1 hour session, I tried 3 times to sort of guide him, but totally unsuccessfully. So I gave up. I just listened. And when the session ended, then he said that, well, you see, our time is over probably. He stood up, gave me his hand and said, Ivar, this was the best session ever I had. So for me, it was a really rather new experience, but saying that you really shouldn't try to do much. Sometimes it is important that you just are there and you create the space. And now there is one more very interesting concept. It comes from the coach from the US, Rand Stegen. Here is a slide which shows the podcast, what is the interview with him, and what really hooked me here was the way how he attended coaching. And his concept was that there are 4 levels of coaches. First level, and the levels are actually defined by the feedback, what the coach is seeking, how well they have been doing. So the first level of coaches is friendly coach. And for this sort of coach, most important feedback is how good rapport I have made, how good friends we are, how safe is the environment for the coach. Second level is performance coach. For this coach, really important is that the coachee is getting their goals, achieving their goals, getting what they want to get. And the other feedback is that, well, if the goal is achieved, then coaching has been good. Third level of coaches is mentoring or facilitating coach. This is coach who moves one step further. He is not anymore involved in coachee obtaining or getting to the goal, but just facilitating the process so that after the coachings, the client themselves can move forward, find their ways without further need of coaching. So sort of the client will be more independent and more able to manage themselves and their people. But what is the most important, and which really touched me, was the fourth level of transformational coach. And the fourth level, according to Randstegen, is that this is a coach who doesn't do anything and doesn't aim to anything. Transformational coach is just there, and just with a mere presence, just being there, supporting a process, asking sometimes some questions, can make the profound effect on the other person. Just being there, doing nothing. And for me, it sort of correlated with the experience what I just shared with you when I didn't have a chance during 1 hour to make impact, and just by not doing impact, just by being there, actually the client was very happy, and I felt that something really was achieved. But then Randstegen very nicely said that, yeah, and for this transformational coach, this coach doesn't seek any feedback at all. He is just there, just being in the process, just being themselves. And for me, it's sort of a mystical notion that, well, how can you develop further so that you don't seek feedback? Randstegen, to the question, where is he himself? He said that, well, he thinks that this transformational coach level, it's more theoretical. He said that he is not there yet, that he's still seeking the feedback, still trying to achieve that the client gets their goals, the performance is better. He's not yet there. And then I have been struggling with this concept. I feel that there is something very, very valuable, but how to be with it? And then I brought it to my supervisor. We discussed it, and my learning from this supervision session was that actually you don't have to be just in one of these levels. Actually, you can move between these levels. And we discovered several situations where I thought that I was in second level, third level, and even some glimpses of the fourth level. And this new awareness, it gave me a lot of confidence and makes me my journey further, my coaching journey, even more juicy and more attractive for me. So now I think that I have talked a lot. I have shared my emotions, my understandings, some things what have been happening, and therefore I would be now willing to get engaged in the conversation, because frankly speaking, I'm just staring the screen and I feel a bit lonely. So please just switch in and let's try to have some conversation.
If I may, my name is Igal from Estonia. If I may ask, just regarding the last slide, is my voice heard?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. So that this, isn't it so that it depends also of the coachee very much, the way that this transformational coach is possible if the coachee's self-reflection level is on certain level. so that it is basically, it's like the flywheel which moves already, and you need only with one finger to add the speed there because it moves. If it stands, then you need to make lots of effort to make it moving. But there is a person who is basically very good high-level self-reflection ability, and you just need to help him or her a bit.
That's absolutely so. That's absolutely so. Well, in coaching, isn't it so that this is the process of the coachee, and coach should be just as a partner, being aside and being very, very flexible here, and just try to show the maybe different angle of the same thing for the coaching client. So I like the metaphor that if I coach somebody, then we are walking in the attic of their house, and that's their house, and I'm walking there, and I have a flashlight, and then I ask from the coach, where would you like to look, or which way should I go? And coachee says, well, maybe we could show a bit right there forward, and then I show light there and ask, what do you see there? What is it? What does it mean for you? So I show the light, but he or she shows the direction and goes for that. And therefore, I fully agree that, yes, if coachee, or in the present case, if the coach supervisee is in a state that they have this so-called unformed ego, or they are really new to the profession, they are not that far yet with their reflection. And then it should be absolutely fine for the supervisor to be there with them and try to create the space so that the coach, being supervisee, can reflect and can get what really they need. And this is sometimes it's really challenging for a supervisor, because, well, I feel that we could achieve so much more. But there was one thing what my supervisee discovered, it was a half for them, and, well, I have to live with it. So thank you very much. It was a very good question.
Thank you.
So I will ask you as well, Ivar, I'm Anne-Mari, that I also wrote it down, but I ask it also with the voice, that does it also depend on the client, that which kind of level of coaching the coach should provide from the model you showed, like between the 4 levels, or does one level contain in another?
Well, no, actually, if now we are speaking about different things. This model, what I showed by Peter Hawkins, it's meant as a model for supervision, and these 4 levels are something what the supervisor with supervisee work on. But well, I'm just thinking along the lines what you proposed, and why not? Also in coaching session, coach can be flexible and move where the coachee is wanting to move, and it's. I would say that it doesn't happen automatically. For the good coach or good supervisor, it would be good to be alert and just try to move the conversation to the next level, but just try without attachment. So if it clicks for the client, it's fine, we can go there. But if the client isn't yet there, or for them is something else which is on the other level more important, then we come back and we stay there.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions? Okay, I will just step in with the video for a while and tell everyone that I also wrote in the chat my email address, and every one of you who needs to get the Coach Continuing Education Unit Certificate should just send me an email with the passcode with Happy Coaching Week. So I wish you Happy Coaching Week, and this will also be the password in order to get the CCE unit. So unless we have some more final questions, if not, then I just really want to warmly and virtually thank Ivar for this great presentation and for providing for us, and thank to all my colleagues who help with the organizing. So happy Coaching Week to all of you. Thank you again, and I really hope to see you again tomorrow at lunch, and already different topics and different speaker. So thank you.
Thank you.
And if I may add, well, thank you very much, everybody, that you stayed with me and went through this, let's say, presentation. And I would really keenly wish to you that if you haven't tried supervision yet, find yourself a supervisor and just test it, how it works for you. And it might be a really, really interesting process. So good luck for you, and thank you for the privilege to be with you.
Thank you.